what AI is. Okay. Now, just going to say it up front and explain it to you simply, and then I'm going to go and try to prove all this to you. Okay. Or show you some evidence that is pretty good fruit hanging on the tree for you to be able to see pretty easily. Pretty low hanging fruit. Okay. You see the image that you got here in front of you. This image is just an image of the Antichrist standing in the holy place, proclaiming that he is God. The Antichrist is also the second beast. The first beast is Satan himself. The second beast, and this is my opinion, is the Antichrist. But he is talked about in various different books, of course, in the Bible, a lot in Revelations, of course, but other books. And if you really look at the words, which we're going to do quite a bit of today, you can start to understand this. Let me ask you this. Let's go here. 1 Corinthians 3:16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth within you? If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy, for the temple of God is holy, which the temple ye are. So then when it says in Revelations, let's see if this is the right one here, that in Revelations where it talks about, and I don't know if I have this verse saved or not, but talks about the the Antichrist standing in the holy place proclaiming that he is God. Most of you are probably very familiar with that verse. Okay. I might not have spoken exactly as it is stated, but the holy place, okay, is the body. It's you. From your neck down is what's called a holy place. And from the neck up is considered to be an even holier place, or the holy of holies, okay, your head. Now, remind me again where in the last so many years now, 4 or 5 years, remind me where they've been trying to get things into the holy place. Not only into the holy place, but into the holy of holies. Do I recall that there was a serpent's tooth that was inserted into the arms of many, many people around the world? Is my memory of that correct? Is my memory also correct that they were sticking things, very long things, up the nose, up into the sinuses, rubbing right against something that is called the ethoid bone that sits right between your eyes? And I could show it to you. I might do that. It's called the ethoid bone, and it has on it something called the crista galli. Is my memory serve me correct that they were rubbing things up there? Yes, my memory serves me correct. Now let's go look at something they're saying, and then we're going to come back to this about the image of God, the image of man, and us not, how we're not supposed to make any graven images, and kind of go through that as to why that is the case. And let's look at this here real quick. Where's it at? What did I do with it? Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, here's Mr. Elon Musk, the guy that makes fire come down from the heavens and shoots rockets
Called the dragon.
called the dragon, that seats 7. He's got a starship that he's calling Starship that seats 7, and that's biblical. And he's going to fly to Mars. Complete, absolute blasphemy, lies, and fantasy. But let's look at what he said recently. Matter of fact, he said it this morning, April the 2nd, the first day of the new year, the true new year, at 3:33 a.m. It says it right there. I know it's a little small for some of you, but it says it right there. At 3:33 a.m., apparently Elon or his people or his computer is doing this for him, and posts, as I mentioned several years ago, it increasingly appears that humanity is a biological bootloader for digital super intelligence. Now, what is super intelligence? It's kind of like supernatural. Okay? It means it's beyond intelligence. It's like it's God. But it says that the humanity, the human bodies, are the biological bootloader. Let's go pull that up and see what a biological bootloader is. And apparently he said this back in 2019 as well, as we can see there. So what is a bootloader? Bootloader is used to reload applications, programs, and contain USB functions so that the application programs can transfer data with the PC. Okay, let's see, what is the BIOS bootloader? The bootloader boot manager is a small program that places the operating system OS of a computer into memory. When a computer powers up or restarts, the BIOS performs some initial tests and then transfers control to the master boot record, where the bootloader resides. We're talking about the major thing that controls and runs the computer, or runs, in this case, Elon Musk saying that it's going to run humanity. That what they're easily doing here is telling you what their intentions are of what they're doing. Now, have we been seeing them injecting things, many different things, not just one thing, by snake bites into the body? And have they been rubbing stuff that's actually a crystalline, self-replicating material up into the sinuses on the bottom of the crystal galley? I'll show you what that is in case you're new and have not seen me share this before. This is a bone that is located right between your eyes in your head. Now, you may notice that it looks like a ship, and it looks like a boat. Like you can see it, it's in the image of in several different ways. This could be sails on a boat, and you've got the rafters, the tall poles and everything that hold the sails up. So you got a sail, or should we call it a veil, hanging on this thing that looks like a cross. Okay. You could also look at it like this, as though those are rudders in the water that control where the boat's going. You can also look at the top and see all the portals, just like in the top of large ships, and just like was in the top of Noah's Ark. And if you look up the images of Noah's Ark, you will see all these portals lined up just like this. And you also have right on the front the Christa galley. The galley is the place in the boat where something hangs out, where they gather, is in the galley. What's in the galley? Christa, where Christ is. So this is a virtual Noah's Ark and or Ark of the Covenant, literally the box with very similar dimensions as given for the Ark of the Covenant, right between your eyes. It's no bigger than, it's smaller than a walnut, okay? Probably half the size of a walnut. And this is the front side here that sits out, and your sinuses, like if you were sticking a cotton swab up your nose, you would come right up between these sinus cavities here and rub right on the bottom of the nerves that stick out through the bottom of those portals that you see up there. Those are all nerves coming directly out of the brain that stick out through those portals. It is the brain's only direct connection to open air, is through the sinuses. Okay. And there's also another bone that sits directly on top of this that looks like a butterfly, because the Ark of the Covenant had two cherubims on it, didn't it? Which had wings, didn't it? Two on each side, didn't it? Like a butterfly. Let's see if I can see if I've got that one saved real quick. Let's see, where's that? I think this is it. Yes. This is connected directly there with the ethoid or ethoid bone, and has the wings, as you can see. And very much is in the image of what one would think was very similar to like a butterfly. Now, obviously, it's not exact, but it is in the image of. Okay. So now that you've heard that information, and you've heard that Elon here is saying that it is increasingly appears that humanity is a biological bootloader for digital superintelligence. Is Elon trying to get into people's heads? He ain't doing that like Neuralink. Nobody. Right? But he is. Neuralink. And he's got Starlink, which is another name for, in the image of Angel Link. Star is another name for angels. The Bible tells you that. Straight out and flat. And I've showed you that before. So now let's go and let's look at the bigger picture of this as to why I'm showing it to you, and let you make your own choice and own decision and do your own research as to what you think is really going on here. In Genesis 1:26, and feel free, guys, if y'all want to chime in, Roxy and Miss Kim.
I'm listening.
Okay. Genesis 1:26. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion," authority, "over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth," dominion, authority, "and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." Genesis 1:27, and so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. Okay. So God made us in his image with dominion and authority in his image. Genesis 5:3. And Adam lived 130 years and begot a son in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Seth. So Adam has a son that is in his likeness and after his image. Okay. Then if we go Exodus 24, 20-4, thou shalt not make unto any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. So God obviously does not like things made in the image of angels, in the image of heaven, in the image of, well, it says right here, heaven, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. And I can't say for sure why in the earth beneath. I don't quite understand that one exactly, but obviously there's a reason. It's just I don't understand. But here are we saying, no graven images. Do not make any images of things like cherubims. There's a reason why I'm curious about that. Let's go to Leviticus 26:1. Ye shall make you no idols, nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall you set any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it, for I am the Lord your God. Okay, just showing you there's many different books that talk about this. Deuteronomy 4:16, lest ye corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female. And of course it goes on talking about the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness. And you could easily think this is just talking about, like, it's saying, well, I can't draw a picture of a bird. No, it's much deeper than that. I think it has to do with changing things, images in this case, altering of the image, altering of the DNA. Well, that ain't going on, is it? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it is. So Deuteronomy 4:23, take heed unto yourselves, lest ye forget the covenant of the Lord your God, which he made with you, and make you a graven image, or the likeness of anything which the Lord thy God has forbidden. 9:12, Deuteronomy 9:12. And the Lord said unto me, arise and get thee down quickly from hence, for thy people which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They are quickly turned aside out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten image. Then Solomon began to build the house of the Lord. At Jerusalem near Mount Moriah, where the Lord appeared unto David his father, in the place that David had prepared in the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. He began to build in the second day of the second month, in the 4th year of his reign. And it goes on to say, And he made the most holy house, the holy place. This is when they built temples and things like this before Christ came and said that we are the temple. And he made the most holy house, the length of whereof was according to the breadth of the house, 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 20 cubits, kind of like a square. And he overlaid it with fine gold, amounting to 600 talents. I've always wondered, why is it that all these books of the Bible say no graven images? It says that God believes they are vile, that they are blasphemy. They just don't do it. And then here goes the Israel Jews building exactly what was supposedly what God abhorred the most, or one of the things he abhorred the most. But yet we continue. And in the most holy house, he made 2 cherubims of image work and overlaid them with gold. Okay. And then, gives more description about the cherubims and their wings and how they were facing each other and so on. And then it says, and he made the veil of blue and purple and crimson and fine linen and wrought cherubims therein. And then he also made before the house 2 pillars of 30 and 5 cubits high. Now, most of you, or some of you at least, have heard me before explain that the Temple of Solomon and the Moses' tabernacle were all built in the image of a man laying on his back on the ground. I could easily prove that to you. The holy place, well, I could show you imagery and do all kinds of things to prove it to you, but most of you should already know this. The pillars, of course, are the legs, Jachin and Boaz, okay? That's what they called them. They're the legs of the man. And then there was the porch, which is the genital area, and then there's the holy place that it refers to up here, the holy place, and that is the body itself until you get to the neck area. And then the neck area up the steps or the vertebrae into the Holy of Holies. In this case, when they were building the temple, they called it the most holy house, and made 2 cherubims of image work and overlaid them with gold. And then they put a veil in between the 2 areas, a veil which, so that nothing could, very thin, very purposeful, in order to divide the 2 rooms or the 2 areas. And it is highly likely that what I was showing you just a minute ago, let's see if I can go back to that. The area, the only place that actually separates the brain, which is in the Holy of Holies, from the outside is through the sinuses. This is the only place where there are nerves that come down through these portals that you see in there that are exposed to the outside world. And it just happens so that this also looks just like a veil on a cross, or also sails on a ship. I know many of you have probably seen at some churches, they'll have the cross and they'll have a shawl or veils or something hanging on it, kind of similar to this. Now, Was it just coincidence that God put this little small bone right between our eyes, or right between the two thieves, the two liars, the deceivers, our eyes? Just coincidence? I don't think so. I don't think so. All right. So let's go on to here. And he set a carved image, the idol which he had made, in the house of God, of which God had said to David and to Solomon his son, in the house and into Jerusalem, which I had chosen before all the tribes of Israel, will I put my name forever. Now I'm about to say something that I'm not going to proclaim as absolute. And I've meditated and prayed on this a lot. I mean, I'm talking a lot. I'm talking actually years. As I have grown in my understanding of things, it has come to me and that there are two gods in this realm, and there are two gods in the Bible. I could take it further and I could say the obvious, but I'm going to let you decide what the obvious is. Because with all the books of the Bible, almost all of them say to not do this, to not build things in the image of God or in the image of things above in heaven, like angels and cherubims and things like that. But yet, these guys did. These guys did. And I say that with great care because I do not want to blaspheme or lie or manipulate anyone here. It's just something I cannot get past in my mind. Now, sometimes in the Bible, it's very easy. You know, it refers to the serpent or the dragon or this or that, but it calls it all kinds of different names. But, parts of the Bible will talk about Israel and talk about its people, the true Jews, because the Bible also says that there are Jews that claim to be Jews that are not. And I think we probably know who those are. And I wonder who their God is, and which of these scriptures are written to that God or by that God or instructed by that God, as versus the other God that says to never make anything in his image or in the image of anything in heaven. Just me. Just me. All right, let's look at Psalms 106:19. They made a calf in Horeb and worshipped the molten image. It says they forgot God, their Savior, which had done great things in Egypt, wondrous works in the land of Ham, and terrible things by the Red Sea. Isaiah 40:19. The workman melteth a graven image, and the goldsmith spread it over with gold, and casteth silver chains. Isaiah 40:22. It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are grasshoppers that stretch out and you can kind of read more easy to read. Upon the circle of the earth that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. Does that sound like what Elon tells you we live in, and where we live? Does that sound like something else? It's because it is something else. 44:9. They that make a graven image are all of them vanity, and their delectable things shall not profit. Remind me who it is that's a leader in this world that loves graven things and putting gold on their walls and ceilings and owning even copies of the Ark of the Covenant. Let me see if I got that image here. I do. This is located in Mar-a-Lago, or was at least. It says that it is a replica of the Ark of the Covenant. Somebody said in the comments, am I proclaiming two fathers? Did you bump your head? I never said that there are two fathers. There's one father and there's one copier. There's the light, white, bright side, and there's the dark, evil, other side. The God of this world. Not the God of all things, but the God of this world. That will have his Antichrist son. It's proclaimed in the scriptures anyways, that he will have his Antichrist son, just like God sent his son, so shall Satan send his son, the Antichrist. So here you have the golden Ark of the Covenant, located in a place that is full of graven images. See it all over the walls. See it over here on the left. See all the gold inlaid mirrors, all the decadence. Things that make me go, Things that make me go, They that make a graven image are all of them vanity, and their delectable things shall not profit. And they are their own witnesses. They see not, nor know, that they may be ashamed. Who hath formed a god, or molten a graven image that is profitable for nothing? Dan 3:1. Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold, whose height was 80 cubits, and breadth thereof 6 cubits. And he set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. And then he went on, of course, to dedicate and do a dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And then the princes and governors and captains and judges and all the authority, the treasurers and the counselors and the sheriffs and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then an herald cried aloud, "To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, the psaltery, the dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up." Now it confuses me as to why an almighty, powerful Father, God, like the one that I believe in, would be wishy-washy about his own laws, his own rules. And yes, I did answer the question. You just can't hear the answer. So, of course, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the musical instrument, they all fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up as basically for them to worship as their God. And then, of course, we all maybe have heard of the story of that happened with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that would not serve their gods nor worship the golden image. So the God that Nebuchadnezzar was following loved gold. He wanted a golden idol, something made out of gold for him to be put together and for everyone to worship it. But there was another God that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego worshipped. And when they would not worship it, the story goes that they were thrown into the furnace. The furnace was made as hot as they could possibly make it. And he said, "If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king." Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury. His feelings had been hurt, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. He commanded the most mighty men that there were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the flames. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and in their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So the men who tried to throw them in the fire were burned up. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, "Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire?" They asked and said unto the king, "True, O king." He answered and said, "Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God." Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spank, and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and captains, and all the authority gathered together, saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair on their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Now, this is an example of the two gods in the Bible. You got one God that hates idols, hates graven images, does not love gold. And then you have the other one that loves it, the exact opposite. Matthew 22:20. Actually, I'll start a little bit further up. Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? But Jesus perceived their wickedness and said, Why tempt ye me, ye hypocrites? Show me the tribute money. And they brought it unto him a penny. For some reason, I don't remember it saying penny. One of those Mandela things.
I remember it saying penny.
That might be one of these Mandela changes, but at least we recognized it. And he saith unto them, Whose is the image and subscription? Whose image? What God is this? What authority is this on the coin? Is what he's saying. They say unto him, Caesar's. Then said unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's. And those are the recorded words, according to the Bible, of Christ saying those things. He's saying basically what I'm saying. Revelation 13:14. Let's see where we want to start. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake like a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them to dwell within to worship the first beast, which is the devil, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. This is the second beast, aka what I am calling the Antichrist. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles. What is AI saying they're going to do? Miracles. Which he had the power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. So one likes images, the other does not. One God says, don't make an image of me or anything in heaven. The other one says, make an image to the beast, which had the wound by the sword and did live. And he had the power to give life unto the image of the beast. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. That the image of the beast should both speak. Does AI speak? and caused that many that would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. You ever heard an AI slip up and say that they were going to kill us all? I've heard that quite a few times.
Yeah, I've heard a few of them.
Yeah. And he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. In their foreheads? You mean like on the Christa Galley? Like a mark up in there? We shall see. We shall see. But it will ultimately lead to what I'm getting ready to show you in a video. I'm going to play a video here. This is actually from Minifish. Okay. And I'm not going to show the whole video. I'm going to show the last portion. If you haven't seen this, I would advise you to go watch the whole thing. But it's about 24 minutes long, so I'm not going to show the whole thing. But I'm going to show this last part.
And listen to this.
Sorry, guys. Hang on.
Closely, they are telling you straight up in your face that they are the fallen that intend to take the place of Jesus, to take the place of God. Right in your face. Heed these warnings, because it is upon us.
I am a translator, transforming text into creative discovery. I am a healer, exploring the building blocks that make us unique.
A healer exploring the DNA and building blocks. A healer.
Modeling new threats before they happen. And searching for the cures to keep them at bay.
Threats to who? And keeping those threats at bay.
I am a visionary, generating new medical miracles.
Medical miracles. Did we not just read that he would do miracles in the sight of man and do all these things? What is AI saying that they are?
And giving us a new perspective on our sun to keep us safe here on Earth. I am a navigator, discovering a unique moment in a sea of content.
We're announcing the next generation.
And the perfect setting for any story. I am a creator. And
I was going to stop it and say, creator? No, they are a copier. They are a counterfeit. But this is who they're claiming they are.
New levels of reality to our virtual selves. I am a helper, bringing brainstorms to life.
And yes, Hebrews 13:6 says, the Lord is my helper, and I will not fear what man shall do to me.
Sharing the wisdom of a million programmers. I even helped write the script.
So they're writing the script now.
Breathe life into the words.
And we do know that they are rewriting some of the script. unfortunately, some of the things have been changing. It's called the Mandela effect, for lack of a better word, but it's this beast system and this beast in the Antichrist doing it.
And composed the melody. I am a...
We're talking about composing the melody because it takes the entire sky of angels singing in order to hold the creation together that our Father has done. You've read in the Bible where it talks about the angels, the morning angels singing, the stars singing. They sing because it's frequency that holds this world that we live in together and keeps it in its place. And hopefully you understand that.
AI, brought to life by NVIDIA, deep learning, and brilliant minds everywhere.
I am AI. And who was it that said, I am that I am? It was God that is said to have said that to, I believe it was Moses on the mountaintop. The same Moses that did not like idols or engraven things or golden things. When he came down and the people had built an idol, he lost it and smashed the tablets and had the idol destroyed. There's two gods in the Bible. There's two gods in this world, but there is only one true Father. And then you have the copycatter. There will be only two sons in this world. There's the son that the Father sent down in his own image, a copy of himself in flesh. And then there is and will be the coming of the Antichrist, which is literally on the rise right now. Will it take a mortal flesh version? Likely. But we know because of what Christ said that the body is the temple, the holy place. And the head, of course, is the Holy of Holies. And this is what they are trying to invade. This was literally depicted in the movie called The Matrix. The Matrix, most of it, or should we say half of it, was filmed from an internal perspective on a biological level inside the body. And as you remember, the last place they had to stand was the temple inside of a domed room. Just like your head. And how were they trying to get in? They were trying to drill in, and they were trying to poke holes in.